Okay guys, so moving on to the large side of the pack. Earlier on I explained that there's a skinny side of the pack and then there's a wide side of the pack. So this is the wide side of the pack. Now as you can see, I've got a few things attached to the front. We're going to go over those first and then move on back into the depths of this pouch to kind of go over the things that I have. So, start here with a syringe. A syringe in the wilderness setting is basically used to flush out a wound. You fill it up with clean water and you can flush out a deep wound that your patient has. I have a roll here of world's crappiest tape. It is 3M brand, which they make really good stuff, but this stuff just does not stick. But it's convenient, and I'm probably will make me a roll up of duct tape to go in here as well before long. But this is the 1/2 inch tape, and it's, when we get deeper in here, we'll go over more of the uses for that. Have a pair of tweezers for God knows whatever you can think of. Have a red marker. Now this red marker is for a lot of different reasons. One, red is a very attractive color. It's going to catch people's attention. I have a pencil for my write in the rain. You can use pencils and special pens, and I just like the idea of a pencil because it seems to me that they write better in the write in rain pads. I have a book of matches, in case I'm in a cold situation or it's getting dark, because fire equals security in a survival situation. Security equals having a calm patient, hopefully. So that's just one more thing to kind of bring your patient down if they're a little bit worried. Attached down here at the bottom is this little thing. It's called an Exotac fire still or fire striker. It's basically a fire still that has all of its components. It's got the fire still and it's got a striker attached. It's not the best striker in the world, but in an emergency situation, that right there is backup fire. That's all there is to it. You have the secondary choice for fire. Down here at the bottom, I have a pair of earplugs. In my wilderness EMT class, I had some paramedics who do a lot of wilderness work, and they told me, carry a pair of earplugs, because if you have to do work on your patient in the backwoods, they're going to be loud. Put a pair of earplugs in, it's not going to bother you as much as it would if you didn't have earplugs in. But it also has another practical use for whenever you're using a whistle. You can plug your ears or your patient's ears and blow the whistle without hurting anybody's eardrums or causing any uncomfortable situations for you or your patient. What we've got here at the bottom is a tourniquet. There's a whole lot of controversy on whether or not tourniquets are really a good thing to have, but it's constantly going back and forth between, yeah, we should use them, no, we shouldn't. I'm for using tourniquets, and no matter how you look at the situation, that's a guaranteed blood stopper. So the next thing is a snake bite kit stuffed down here at the bottom. It's one of those that has the 3 suction cups. Do they work? Not really, but are they bad to have? No. They keep the patient calm, and that's what you want, especially in a snake bite victim. It does have a scalpel knife and some iodine. So the scalpel knife and the iodine are 2 things that are definitely come in handy in the wilderness situation. There's not a whole lot else in here that's real handy. You got paper to start a fire and some string stuff down here in the bottom of this one. But it's something else. You know, you never know. You might actually be able to use it for something. So yeah. We're going to skip this little pouch here and get to the back. A little trick about these is whenever you have a lot of items stuffed in the back, you simply just take the pouch and fold the corners up and over. You can get right into the back. There you saw part of my materials fell out. I have actually 2 of these 3-inch by 6-foot roller gauze. This is for covering larger wounds such as large burns, large cuts, scrapes, abrasions. That's what those are for. here there is also a triangular bandage. As you see, I had to put some duct tape on the top because the stupid thing wouldn't stay zipped. It's just your typical triangular bandage. You saw I pulled out 2 items there. Unfortunately, that's how I had to pull them out. These are iodine swabs. Once again, cleanliness, cleanliness, cleanliness. These iodine swabs, great for cleanliness. And a survival blanket, which hypothermia, they say you can use it for signaling. Don't know if it's really useful for signaling. So that's all the items except for this next pouch that we're going to get to. These are my large wounds, large bandages. But before we get to those, that's it. That's all of the kit. Set the bag off to the side, and we are to my large wound kit. Jump into this, pull everything out, and we'll go over it all. Once again, it's a high mil bag. I had some hole problems and some duct tape will fix that up real easily. I need to get another one, but they're not cheap because you have to buy like 10,000 of them in order to buy them in the first place. And yeah, it'd be nice if you could go out and buy one of these bags for $5, but I haven't found a place to do that. Any help would be nice. Some 2x2 gauze. Not a whole lot of gauze there. You say, well, you need a lot more gauze than this. No, you don't. Because if I can't cover a wound using those, I might want to dig in here and pull out these triple layer non-stick pads. These non-stick pads are this size. That's 2 gauze size right there. So I kind of do this in stages. If these gauze won't cover the wound, then this will cover the wound. If that won't cover the wound, then 2 of those might cover the wound. 3 of those might cover the wound. 4 of those might cover the wound. You see where I'm going with this? These are my very large wound managements. They are non-stick pads and they are very absorbent. Triple layered non-stick pads. Those are basically like the pad section of a band-aid. I have large bandages. I have what a lot of people call knee pad bandages. Sorry. 2 large antiseptic bandages and 2 large just band-aids. They are regular band-aids that are really big. So as you can see, these are going to cover wounds. This particular part of the kit's going to cover wounds that are, I don't know, 2 inches by 2 inches, or maybe if you take like an alcohol swab. I would go into my large wound kit to get a bandage this size to cover up something a wound the size of this. So just so you understand my small wounds versus my large wounds. A large wound is anything this size that is not a superficial scrape, you know, a deeper kind of cut. I also have 4 of these multi-day Johnson & Johnson heel pads. These multi-day pads, you can throw them on, stick them on, they stay on, and they're made to be able to peel off and check them every day. But they can last up to 4 days on a wound without causing any other infection in the wound. These are Surgi pads. I have only 1 because they are rather thick and they take up quite a bit of space. I did have 2 in there, but I figured I already have 2 in there with more versatility. I have 1 5x9 dressing here, and I have another close to 5x9 dressing with these triple layer pads. So I've got 2 5x9 dressings in my kit. But these can be used on this patient, that patient, this patient, that patient, and I have 4 of them. So you can see where I have redundancy, but I also have versatility. You know, I could save this gauze to use on somebody who has minor injuries and use just 1 of these pads. I could save these pads instead of building 1 large pad to cover a large wound. I could save these by using 1 of these and save these pads for future reference. So you can see kind of that, that versatility. I have butterfly bandages. There's a lot of controversy once again about using sutures in the wilderness setting. You have to make sure that the wound is clean before you suture it. Butterfly bandages are a basic type of suture, but they will work, and you just have to be smart in the way that you use them. To coincide with that, I actually bought some wound closure strips. They're also known as steri strips. And these are just long strips that can be used to pull skin together to, you know, make a suture. These are basically a sticky suture just like a butterfly closure is, but they are a lot wider. So they're for large gaping wounds. So that's, you know, one of those options that I have there. You can use steri strips for types of tape as well. So there you have, guys. That is my kit that goes in my Maxpedition FR1. I feel I have a very well-rounded kit. I've got large bandages that cover eviscerations, avulsions, sucking chest wounds. I've got small bandages to cover just little minor cuts and scrapes and bumps and bruising. I have medications to cover heart attack, allergies, anaphylaxis, anti-diarrhea, or for diarrhea, for pain. I've got multiple things from my benzoid to my neosporin to my iodine for cleaning up a wound. I have heat in the form of hot hands to heat up a patient. I have cold in the form of a cold pack to cool down a patient. So I've got heat and cold related, you know, environmental stuff. Also included with my environmental stuff, I've got string. I've got the ability to build a fire. So there you go. That's my kit, guys. Hope you like it. Thanks.